Hey guys, welcome back to Freddie Cooks International. And if you're here for the first time, then I guess it's not welcome back, it's welcome. Either way, you're here and I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are having a little concoction that I made. I made it for gumbo, but there's no shrimp or seafood in here. So I don't know if you could legitimately have gumbo without seafood. I don't know. I guess the Cajun people would probably spit at me for not having seafood in here and calling it gumbo. So I'm not going to call it gumbo. It's more of a mix between a sancocho, which is a Spanish-inspired dish, mixed between a sancocho and a gumbo. So I'm going to call it a sancumbo. We'll go with that for now. Anyways, it's about to be good. I know that. I did make a video showing me how I prepared this. So if you like to watch cooking videos, then you will see, you have the opportunity to see how I made this. I don't know if it's going to go up before or after this. You'll have to see. However, welcome to Freddie Cooks International. I've said that before, and I'm not going to continue to be redundant. I am about to eat. Lord, thank you for this food I'm about to receive, that it nourish and strengthen my body for Christ's sakes. Thank you, Lord, for provision. Today, we are back with a continuation of our dinner conversation. For those of you who are following those, today I'm pretty excited because we're getting into the meat of it all. So, without further ado, let's see how this turned out. Would you like some? Would you like some? Here, there you go. Woo. Okay, so oh my gosh. O-M to the G. Oh my gosh. This is amazing, if I don't say so myself. But I do say so. Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I don't know if you can even see what's in the spoon. You can't really see, can you? Anyways, there is everything in here. There's rice, of course, chicken broth, chicken, sausage, got some okra, corn, even got an egg back here hiding around, boiled egg. There she is. Some red beans. I'm sorry. It's good. I had started getting a headache because I think I waited too, and I waited too long to eat, and I really wasn't fasting or anything. I just didn't eat, and I had some candy, but I didn't have any real food. What kind of candy did I have, though? I think I only had like one Twizzler. That don't even count. I wanted to eat much sooner, but I had promised an old friend I was for sure going to call her back tonight. It is easy for me not to call somebody back. Not because I don't want to. It's just, I do not like to talk on the phone. I really do not. I'm not going to use it as an excuse. Tampico. That's what I'm drinking. Did you see that? I don't think if you even saw it. There we go. Just the nature of my Monday through Friday job. I'm on the phone majority of the day talking. Sometimes for 10 hours. Or that's my shift is 10. When my shift is 10 hours, I would work like 10-hour shifts for 4 days. And then the opposite week I work just normal 6.5 to 8-hour shifts for 5 days. But nevertheless, every week I'm on the phone. And when I get off work, I just don't want to talk to nobody else on the phone. It's just not my thing. Long story short, I said I'd like to say, I promised a friend I was going to call her back tonight, which I did. And I thought, well, maybe let me try to multitask. That's another thing, too. When I'm on the phone, I feel like just for leisurely talking, I feel like I'm not getting anything done. So I'm on the phone trying to edit the cooking video that I prepared this meal. I really wasn't being very productive doing that. My thoughts were, okay, I'll go ahead and edit that video while I'm talking, and I can go ahead and upload that video tonight. Which this is Sunday night. Video has not been, okay, I think I got most of it edited. I think I will put that up tonight. So tomorrow, which is your today, unless I've got some early birds, there we go. I don't know why I can't think of certain things like I used to. Not that I'm old or anything. We got some early birds that'll catch you up late at night. Then you may see it tonight, because I'm going to try to upload it tonight. Which is Sunday night. You couldn't even see that. I don't know if I need a better camera. I don't know what I need. It's just not the move. How about that? Let me see if I can even stand it up. Hang on, y'all. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, but I don't know about this. I'm going to try it out just for this video. So, boom. I don't know how I feel about it, though. This is just ridiculously. Somebody calling me. Have to call you back. But not tonight. This is not an ASMR. Not on purpose, anyways. I need some more juice. You gotta hang on for me just a moment. Okay, I'm back. And I'm still trying to get used to this. I don't know if I need to get used to it. Somebody out there, tell me which setup you like better. This one or just my normal setup to where the camera is straight in front of me. I don't know if I don't like it just because it's different, it's new for me. It just feels a little awkward. Tell me what you think. I'm going to do the rest of this video like this, and we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the conversation today. We left off, we ended up talking about where does evil come from, the origin of evil. And I said that today we'll be talking about the doors of eternity. How do we respond to our choice of eternity? Just to give us a quick catch up, I shared the origin of evil, which came from an angelic being, Lucifer, and his influence on man. Lucifer became evil, and he influenced mankind to be evil, mankind being the first man. So he influenced disobedience, which is sin. He influenced sin. He influenced bad behavior, you can say. This is the same thing that happens today. If you think of peer pressure, you don't want your kids, all of you out there who have children, you don't want your kids to hang around the wrong crowd, because the wrong crowd can influence your child to do things that you did not teach them to do. Likewise, Satan influenced human to disobey God's commandment not to eat from the tree of good and evil. I talked about why God even made the tree of good and evil. God used Satan to present man his choices, because we have free will to choose. After sin came into the world with the disobedience, Adam and Eve had children. Two sons, Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. One was, you can say, one was good and the other one was evil. There's your duality again. Cain killed Abel because of his pride. He didn't give from his heart. He became jealous of his brother. So I want to suggest to you that many different sins were birthed from pride. I'm going to show you, as we continue to go through, how pride shows up. Or we'll talk about it. I say I'll show you, but really we'll talk about it. Men became corrupted, and so we are corrupt people even now. So it is in our very nature to sin. Many people don't like that word sin. It has become a bad word. So I'll just say it became natural for us to want to do what we want to do. I'll say it that way. And then let me share this with you, what I really mean. We became a people who want to do what we want to do, and that makes us corrupt. I'll show you how, and I'll show you how it starts. At birth, we were born with the nature to do evil. It's passed down through our bloodlines from generation to generation. That's the curse. We're basically cursed. Follow me here. When I say curse, meaning that we are not, well, I'm going to get ahead of myself. Let me just go with the analogy of a child. You have to train a child how to do good or what's good, because it's in our nature, even as young adults, young children, babies, to do wrong. Or I said to do wrong, but there's a lot of it that is innocent, because babies are very curious, and they have to be taught, because if you don't tell them to stop or don't do that or no, that's wrong, then they will continue to get into things because they're curious. Now, once you tell them, no, stop, don't do that, and once they understand that no, what you mean, no, you'll see a lot of you mothers out there, or if you're older, you'll notice how children will try to test you. And it's not that they don't know stop. It's not that they don't know no means no. They want to see how far they can go. If you tell your child no candy before bed, well, you know, as an adult, why? Because their teeth are right out. Child don't know any of that. All the child knows is they want candy. So the child, if he decides I'm going to sneak and get some candy anyways, that's what I mean by doing what you want to do. Even though mother said no, and I have my little cousin I've seen him do this quite often. No candy before bed. As soon as nobody's looking, he's sneaking in the candy jar. And then you call him. He comes out with a mouthful of, what's in your mouth? So he has sneaked and gotten candy anyways. I want to tell you that decision was premeditated. He thought about it, even though he knew it was wrong. It's wrong because his mother told him not to. The mother is the authority. And so that made it wrong when he did it anyways. That's disobedience. That disobedience came from selfishness, self-willed, doing what you want to do, regardless if it's wrong, not caring if it's wrong or if it's right or if it's whatever. That's what I mean. We have the nature to want to do what we want to do. And that comes from pride. Now, pride can mean, it has a couple different meanings. One meaning to respect one's work. Another meaning of pride is excessive self-esteem. And I mentioned in one of the love videos, the videos about the 4 types of love, I think, one of those, that you can have an unnatural love for yourself or unnatural desire to think you are better than someone else, or to become entitled for whatever reason. You may feel entitled to something. And so if you're entitled, it becomes all about you. Me. It's what I want. I want to do what I want to do. And when I can't get my way, it can show up and have consequences. Many of you wondering when I said we're cursed, what do I mean? And that our nature is to do wrong. And what do I mean? And how was that passed from a person to a person, from generation to generation? Just as I mentioned that love is eternal, it's something eternal. You can't see it, but you can see the long-lasting effects of it. When you make up in your mind, when the kid who stole the candy decides, I'm going to get the candy anyways, in his mind, he has to form a plan to sneak to get the candy. That whole planning, there's something within you when you're planning to do evil. Now, there's some people who are planning to do wrong, and there's some people who don't know things are wrong. That's a conversation that we'll get to, but how can you do wrong and not know it? Well, I mentioned that a parent has to teach their children the right way and the wrong way to do things. But I mentioned also in a previous video, I think it was the collard green and cornbread video when I had chicken, talking about basically this same scenario about children wanting to do what they want to do. And children who are not given home training or are not taught the right way to go become adults who don't know the right way to go. Now, I'm not saying that happens in every case. We still have free will to choose. But someone who has always seen wrong or have always been around the wrong and never been taught the right way may not even know. So people grow up not knowing what's right. I don't want to lose you here. I'm mentioning all of this just to share how we became fallen, because we are fallen people, meaning that we are corrupt, meaning nobody is perfect. We say that all the time. I'm only human. So when we say that, what do we mean? I'm only human, meaning that we mess up, we make mistakes. What we're really saying is we have the ability to sin. Note, I'm not speaking from a context of a person not being able to achieve a certain task, the reason they say that they're not human or we're not human. I'm speaking from the context of not wanting to or being able to achieve a certain level of morality or good behavior. And so in those instances, people have a tendency to say, I'm not perfect, I'm only human, in order to justify their poor choice or poor behavior. Note that it's pride to use justification in order to deflect and not assume responsibility for the actions that are displayed. That's what we're saying, because normally when people say, I'm not perfect, I'm only human, you can't judge me, don't judge me, because none of us are perfect. We normally say that in a form of justification, justifying what we are doing. And so we're not taking a stance of humility and saying, oh, I'm sorry, I messed up. Now, people do that. I'm saying it doesn't happen. We do that. And that's what we should do. But the natural response, the normal response of someone who is not humble would be, I'm only human. I'm not perfect. Don't judge me. Only God can judge me. I brought that up and I said that before, but I just spoke of another opposite of pride. The opposite of pride is humility. And I'm going somewhere with this. all the way through the doors of eternity. That's what we need in order to enter into the doors of eternity. Haven't quite gotten there yet. There was something else I wanted to mention. And why we need to have a response of humility to enter into the doors of eternity. It is because no one is perfect. Is that right? Okay, I think you will agree with me. No one's perfect. I'm talking and I ain't eating. Hang on. I know why I got more food and I wasn't even finished with what I had. That's greed. Yes, it is. And no matter how big or small it is, it's not right. It's my food. But now I got to stuff myself to finish it instead of just eating what I had. I mean, I recognize that. I saw it. I see it. And I can do better. Yes, I can. Yes, with this setup, you can see more of my food. I think. I don't know. Y'all tell me. You like this better or the first setup? Okay, I didn't want to lose my thought, though. I'm sorry. I think I lost it. What was I talking about? Humility. I got about a minute before my camera is going to say it's full and I'm going to have to restart it over. But, I also wanted to speak of, I was talking about humility is the opposite of pride. We need to have humility. We all say that we're not perfect. So we can agree of that, but a lot of times we justify our imperfections instead of being humble about it. So in that case, if we say that we are not perfect, we mess up, we're saying that we are fallen. That's what we're saying. We are falling people. And now I already shared how we became fallen. And so when it comes to what happens when we die, now that is a loaded question because there are many different religions now and many different theories, suggestions, opinions based on opinions, theories, text. The general consensus is that if you're good, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to hell. And then the justification of people who don't want to dare think that we could have that hell is a possibility. If you're good, you go to heaven, and if you're bad, you just die. And then there's others that everybody goes to heaven because nobody want to think of anybody not going to heaven. I don't know how much of this conversation was on that was captured on the last video. Sorry, my camera cut off. But some people think that everybody goes to heaven because I don't know why. I don't know who said that. And that some people believe that there is no heaven, there is no hell. It's just we're here and we die and it's it. I guess you'll never know if you're not dead yet, huh? But if you're wrong, then you do have a lot to lose. I mean, I guess you don't have much to lose if you're right. But if you're wrong, think about what you have to lose. And are you willing, whoever you are you willing to just hold out and see? Well, I think the wise response would be to find out all you can while we're here, because we only got one chance. We only got one shot at it. And we need to make sure we're responding right. Now, I want to tell you something that you may and you may not know. Some of you may know it. Some of you may not know it. Did you know there are 3 religions that the beginning of the religion started exactly the same? Exactly the same. Do you know what those 3 religions are? I'll give you a hint. Christianity is one of them. Anybody know what the second one is? And the third one? Islam and Judaism. Those are 3 started exactly the same. The people are recognized as the same. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Adam and Eve. Those people, the whole entire first part of the Old Testament is the same. So these 3 ancient religions agree on the first part of the Bible. What is the distinguishing factor of all of those 3 religions? Does anybody know? It's Jesus. I'm going to back up just a little bit because on one of the videos prior, I asked, who is the judge? We all say you can't judge me, but we all normally end up hypocritical in some way when we judge other people. For instance, when we say that a murderer should go to jail, that's a judgment. So the people who say, if you're good, you go to heaven, and you're bad, you go to hell, under what standards are we judging? Okay, so here we are, judges of everybody else. And so we're not perfect when we're on earth. But when it's time to go to heaven, everybody is good. At least good enough to go to heaven. But what is the line? Who determines what's good enough? Are we able to determine that ourselves? And so this is where we discuss the response. and the door to eternity. And this is where I introduced that difference between all three of the religions that are the same in the beginning. You have Judaism, you have Islam, and you have Christianity. Jesus is the difference. All of them, or I would say none of them, denies that he was a real person. It's just that Judaism and Islam denied that he was the person that he claimed and others claimed him to be. Without going into a whole bunch of without trying to go into a lot of persuasion, I want to give you the reason why it makes a difference. It is because, as we've already come to the conclusion, nobody is perfect, and all of us have the ability to do wrong and to do evil. And then I mentioned already that the Father, the Creator, God, He is a holy God, meaning that all perfect, good God that cannot stand in the presence, or no one can stand in his presence, being corrupt. That corruption cannot stand before him. In heaven, corruption cannot enter heaven, I would say that. And no matter how good we are, or how good we think we are still fallen people. And so Jesus came for a specific purpose. But what many people do not know, even many Christians, I would say a huge number of Christians don't understand who Jesus really is. And why he came, and how salvation really works. Many people think that Christians believe in three gods, or Holy Ghost, Jesus, and God. But what people don't realize about God, and we talked about how big the universe is. I showed a pictorial of that in the last video. How humongous the universe and the heavens and creation is, and it's continuing to expand and grow, just as the generations of people continue to expand and grow. So it's infinity. So how much bigger of a God, of a creator there has to be to create all of that ever expanding universe. So what had happened was the Father's plan to save his people, to bring them back in unity with him, was Jesus. But who is he? God manifested himself on this earth, came to earth as a human being to sacrifice himself in order to bring humanity back to him. We'll go more in detail of this in the next video. This is where I'm going to kind of wrap this up. But what I'm wanting to share with you, how and why is Jesus the door to eternity? That's the difference in every other religion. Every other religion has some form of your being good is a key to eternity, or the key to everlasting life, or basically the key to life. And it is true, there are standards, but without the door, you cannot enter. But without salvation, you can't enter the door, because there's only one person who can open it, and it is God himself. And God God opens that door through his son. Now, the confusion is, how can God be Father and Son? and I have to go back again to say how big, how huge. There's not even a word for how marvelous God is, because he was formed through a human being. His spirit because his spirit entered into a human being to create a son. He created life. He created man. So can God not replicate himself? But it's really not a replication. It's a manifestation, just a different manifestation of himself. There we go. Jesus is another manifestation of the same God, but as human form. But he didn't come on earth to be God. He came on earth to be a servant, to serve man and to show man the way. And through his death, and because the Father in heaven, the Creator, God, never left heaven, but he did. He remained in heaven and manifested himself on the earth at the same time. But his manifestation on earth and man was not to be a ruler. He's coming back again for that. That's another video. That's a whole nother video. He's coming back again for that. And so you hear people saying Jesus is coming back soon. What are people talking about? He is coming back to reign. But the first time, which people denied that it was him, because the Jewish people expected him to come back to rule, which he is coming back to rule. But there is also prophecy meaning foretelling of the future. In the Old Testament, that's the first part of the Bible. The first part of the Bible that actually Jews actually believe it's foretold, but they were blinded. They didn't see it. They didn't see him and notice him when he came, because they were expecting pompous. They were expecting fanfare and power. But Jesus came back to show us humility. He came back the very opposite of what people expected him to. And so they was like, it couldn't be him because he's just a little common old man. Although he did miracles, signs, and wonders, and there were eyewitnesses to this, but the point that I'm trying to make is, in order to enter to eternity, we have to have humility. Humility to recognize that we are fallen and that we don't deserve to go to heaven just because of who we are. Now, it wasn't our fault that we were born into a fallen generation of fallen people. It wasn't our fault. It was the first man's fault. But here we are. However, there's a choice that we can make in order to make it right. We can continue to want to do things on our own in order to get to heaven. And that's what man has been doing from the beginning, wanting to do things his way. We want to do it our way, and based on our opinion and what we think, that's what it's going to be, because that's what we said and that's what we think, and so that's how it should be. However, that's not humility. That is once again our pride. And so when many people say, I was born this way, we were born this way. We were born with the capability to do good. We were born with the capability to do evil. And because of the evil that we have done in our past, wherever and whenever, none of us are fit to enter the kingdom of heaven. As a matter of fact, we can't even get in there without having faith in the one who can get us there. But that again brings a choice to believe or not to believe. Now, we'll talk more about belief and faith in the next video. Because what you see today as Christianity, the mainstream, is not, I'll just say, it's not the real thing. It's not authentic. As we talked about before, everything has a counterfeit, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. So stay tuned. It's just getting good. Until next time.